Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everybody's had a wonderful day. I definitely did. I just really took care of some errands today, but I still had a wonderful day. Every day is a wonderful day if you choose to make it so, and I choose happiness every single day. I hope that you guys are too, and I hope that you are being grateful for every single thing that you have. I was listening to a message that someone had on a podcast about how often do you thank God for your arms and your legs and things like that that we use every day if we have the capability to do so, and we don't thank God for them. Well, I do. That is part of my daily prayer. I thank God every single day for even my arms and my legs, for my eyes that see, my ears that hear, my lungs that breathe, my heart that beats, my brain that's clear and sharp and focused. I started making a list of all of the physical functions that I have, including my spiritual gifts, that I am grateful for, and saying them every day, especially when people started to have rumors about me being not mentally stable, but my brain has always been clear and sharp and focused. I just choose to shift my perspective and not talk about the things that I don't want to address anymore, because I don't live there anymore. But when I did, it became one of the straws that got grasped at. So I always thank God that He has taken care of my mental capabilities, no matter what anyone has said or tried to do. So I always thank God for my arms and legs, even because the things that you may take for granted is something that someone would so want to have and they don't have anymore. So every little thing that we have is a blessing. Every little tiny thing you have is a blessing. And a lot of times we don't even realize that or remember to thank God for them until they are taken away. And then you realize what a big part that they played in our lives, and how you would give almost anything to have them back. But God does this for a reason. So I know a lot of atheists and agnostics, that is a big part of their argument, and I don't argue with them. They should feel free to believe whatever they want. I will have no part in trying to sway them. I live my life as an example, and I tell my testimony to anyone that will listen, and if they choose to look at what He's done to me and change their mind, then so be it. But I will never argue with anyone, but it is always a point of contention for them when they do want to engage others in discussion or arguments, is that, well, if there's a God, then why would He have starving children? Why would He give children cancer? Why would He do this or that? But I believe that everything is part of God's plan. Everything happens for a reason. If a child has cancer, or if a child dies, or if a child is starving, or something heinous happens to what we deem as a very innocent person, they came here knowing that was going to happen. They fully were aware that they were serving a purpose in the life that they were going to live, and all of the steps that were played out in said life before they came here. Your soul doesn't feel any of those things. Your soul is sent here to teach others lessons, to learn their lessons. It does not feel pain. Your body may feel pain, but your body is not your soul. So your body is only here for a short amount of time. It's an instrument. It is an avatar, if you will. So it does not feel any of those things. And your soul fully knew what was going to happen to that body from the minute that your soul jumped into that body. So it knew, and it accepted those terms. It's not for any of us to fight or argue about it. That was in their soul agreement. That is between them and God. That is not for us to argue over or try to defend them or stay up in arms about. That's their life plan. We should just worry about our life plan, our path and purpose. That's what we should worry about. Or not worry, but that's what we should focus on. And if anything on your path, within your life, or other testimonies that you hear lead you back to the Lord, great. he's there for us whenever we want him. He doesn't require that we love him, but he loves us regardless of what we choose to believe, or wherever we may roam or stray, or however you choose to look at it. So I have been grateful for every single thing, and I just wanted to share with you guys some experiences that I have been a witness to, and have experienced myself lately, as far as my little adventures and things that I'm doing, because it's taken me out of the hustle and bustle. It's taken me out of stress. It's very much set me free in what I am doing with my days, and who I choose to engage with, and what I set my algorithm to sync up with. And it has been glorious. It has been glorious. I have loved going on these adventures and taking myself on dates. And even just after going to the museum yesterday, it was amazing. It was an amazing day. I love art, so I fully just ate all of that up. And it has been a little over a year since I had been with Colin. I think I took Colin sometime in October or November of 2023. So it's been just like a year, over a year, year and a half since I've been, but almost everything had changed. There was only a few things. Of course, the part that's in the mansion, it never changes, except for the children's part. But the other things constantly change, and I hadn't seen a lot of the things that were in there. They had an exhibit that was Bank of America owned artwork, and that was the whole top floor, and that changes most often. And that had a lot of pictures. I've been going to these waterfalls, and I love chasing waterfalls, but the waterfalls that I've been taking pictures of around here, which are amazing, are nothing compared to the pictures that I saw in Yosemite, in Yellowstone, and just looking at pictures that Ansel Adams took of El Capitan. Like, it just makes me want to go out west to those parks so bad. I that's definitely a goal of mine. I want to do that now. Those pictures of the environment in those parks after the adventures that I've been on recently definitely make me want to set out for that. I've been to the Grand Canyon, but that's about it for my out west adventures. I had been to a lot of lighthouses on the west coast, but that's about as adventurous as I have been, only going as north as San Francisco into the Redwoods and Golden Gate, and I've been to Alcatraz. But yeah, it makes me want to do some more adventuring out there when I haven't thought about that in a long time. So yeah, I just have been encountering a lot of people, and they're all having a good time, and we're having good exchanges. And I've still gone to the park to do my walks, but not as much, because I'm getting a lot of exercise on these other little expeditions, and it's a good change of pace. But in doing these things, I'm meeting people, and they are also appreciative of what they're doing, and the exchanges that we have, no matter how brief they may be, they're beautiful, and I'm embracing all of that. And I just wanted to share some of the things and the lessons that I have drawn from them, or other people have drawn from them lately, because we can all learn from each other without having to go through the experience ourselves, to have less pain and less suffering, to level up. That's what I want for all of us. But the first one I was going to talk about is I was watching, and I haven't been singing up with this, but his sister did show up on my feed for YouTube the other day. But DDG is a rapper, and he's a streamer, and he's a Libra, so like I very much like get his humor and his mindset. But I haven't been syncing up with him. But he has a sister named Titi, and in her vlog, she's very much a bright star. Like, I gravitate towards her and watching her video as it was on my feed, because I believe that it was on purpose. I don't believe in coincidences or accidents. So I believe that it showed up on purpose, and she has a very bright light, and she does not shine it as much as she should. She's very shy and inhibited, and I see myself in that, but she's very creative. She's makes her own clothing, and she went to um, a festival. What was it called? Rolling Loud. Yeah, but her brother was performing, but she went there with a couple of her streamer friends, and this guy came up. She was wearing her own original outfit, and her hair was different than like what is considered trendy right now. And this guy came up to her and was giving her like a backhanded compliment, and he was trolling her in person. And now she's online all the time, so she's experienced a lot of trolling online, but never in person. She was a little thrown off, and she was eating too. It was just weird, but they had someone filming them the whole time, so they caught all of this on camera. So she was going back and breaking it down for people that had saw it and were concerned about how she felt after this happened. And she um, took the compliment. The guy said that she looked like Left Eye from TLC. She took the compliment. She was like, "Thank you." But then he said something that was backhanded compliment wise. I can't remember the exact words, but her so-called friends that were there with her, other streamers, hit each other and started laughing and carrying on to where they were holding on each other and laughing and stepping away like they were about to fall down and all this stuff. And you could tell by the way that they hit each other that it was like an inside joke. They had already talked about her outfit. They had already discussed the way that she was dressed and how it wasn't trendy and it wasn't approved by them as being like great, but she saw it as great and she was going to rock herself. And that's what I think we should all do, rock ourselves regardless of what anyone else thinks or what everybody else is doing. Be yourself, be authentic. That's where you're really going to shine. And in the comments, a lot of people were saying that her light exposed their darkness, and that is very true. And she's 21, so she was still in the naive phase where she didn't want to lose her friends. She didn't want to believe that they weren't her friends, that other people were trying to tell her. In the whole reason that she was watching this video and recounting events and how she felt, because people were concerned for her, people that were older than her, people that had discernment, people that had had this happen to them before, and they were trying to save her some pain and suffering from future events by calling it out and saying, "Clock it. These girls are not your friends. Don't you see the way that they're hitting each other? They've already talked about this. They were just waiting for somebody to bring it up because they weren't going to do it. They wanted somebody else to do it. And they were laughing way too hard and not taking up for you and just falling all over themselves with laughter. They were not being your friend." And she said, "Hold up, everybody. I had a conversation with this girl and this girl, the two that were there with her, and they apologized." And that's great. Apologize. Forgive them. Even if they don't apologize, forgive them without an apology, because a lot of times you're never going to get one, but you still need to, like they said, clock it and realize that those kind of friends are not your friends. And even though you've forgiven them and they might apologize, they might not, it is time to move around. Move around. It is time for you to be that light and thank them very much for that moment in which they hit each other and fell all over themselves with laughter. Thank them for that. Thank you so much that my light exposed the darkness in which you live, the low vibrations in which you live, that I exposed you at your core and what you stand for, because you're not willing to be authentic. You're trying to be part of the herd mentality and wear the hairstyle and the clothes and the brands that everybody else is wearing. And here I am with a throwback do with some yellow shades that nobody else would even think of wearing, and my own clothes that I made because I'm trying to reach for my goals. I've saw my potential. I'm trying to reach for that. I'm going to talk about that later, but she knows what her potential is, and even though she hasn't fully stepped into her confidence, she did not shy away from going out there. She knew she was going to be in a crowd. She knew that it wasn't mainstream, and she knew that someone would appreciate it, and someone might ask her. It was going to be filmed, it's going to be put on the internet, and someone might ask her to recreate that or something else for them that is custom, that is her own gift, her talent that she wants to share with the world. And so she was her own model that day, and they couldn't stand it. One, because they don't want to come up out of their low vibrations to reach for their potential. Two, she's trying to put herself out there and be vulnerable in order to advance. You can't stay in your same little comfort zone, in your little shell, and be like everybody else and advance. You're not. You're just going to be part of the herd forever. You're going to have to ride that wave out. She wanted to ride her own wave, and that takes a lot of strength and a lot of confidence and a lot of just being your genuine, authentic self, which is scary to a lot of people. They don't want to do that. They don't want to break out of the mainstream and rock themselves. And she was rocking herself. But at 21, she hasn't been through enough experiences, and she wasn't willing to open her eyes to believe that this is something that she needed to leave behind. Not with confrontation, not with anger, not with hate. In peace, say, thank you so much for showing me what you did. I forgive you, with or without an apology, and I'm going to move around and I'm going to continue doing me without you. I wish you the best. Peace out. That's what I want for all of you. It just brought up a very important lesson within seeing that, and I knew that it crossed my attention for a reason, and that's what I took away from that. Also, I watch Midlife Stockman. As you guys know, he does the community work and yard transformations. He does anything. He replaced a roof for a brother and sister who owned a home together, but he was in a community where he was doing a house that was across from a playground, and it had been a lot of these abandoned houses, even though he'll clean them up for the neighborhood, and he'll clean them up so that squatters don't come, because a lot of drug activity will happen if people see that the yard is high and they know that no one lives there. So he'll try to make it look like someone lives there or someone's about to do something with the property, so that people don't just assume that it's abandoned and take over. So he was cleaning it up, and then someone stole his backpack blower for the sidewalk, and leaves and grass and stuff. Somebody stole it, and it was apparently pretty expensive. And he has almost 700,000 followers now. And I looked in the comments just to see what people would say, because it hadn't happened to him before, but it was a very good lesson for him. He's in Detroit, so some of these neighborhoods are a little sketch. And he had his camera on it and where that it was sitting, and how, well, look, it's still here. And then after a certain amount of time, he was like, this car slowed down. I kind of thought it was sketchy, but I kept on working because I was almost finished, and then the blower was gone. And all of these people in the comments started sending him money. I mean, like 10, 15, 5, 100, 100, 100, 100, $500. I mean, people were going nuts in the comments, sending him super thanks and their little thanks with the gift and the money attached. And I was just like so overwhelmed for him. I know he was overwhelmed because of the support is just amazing. But the lessons that we learn in that type of work is when you have a big heart and you are just so willing to give and try to make others' lives easier, that the low vibrational people will sniff that out because they're manipulative, and that's who they try to get over on, are the good-hearted people. They want to step all over them like doormats. They want to take advantage of them because they see them as an open door that they can just traipse right in and take whatever they want and loot and steal, and those people are just easy targets. So he'd only encountered that one time before, when like a stray rock hit a neighbor's car from the mower, and the guy said that his buddy could fix it for $600. The dent was like really little, and because he didn't want to go through the guy calling the police or filing insurance or going to court and all of these things possibly costing more than $600, he just paid the $600. But that guy got over on him big time, and people still bring that up. But I don't want you to stop being that good-hearted person. He took that money, he bought a new blower, he took the suggestions of other people, and he put air tags on all of his equipment, and he mounted two cameras on his trailer where his equipment is in case anyone even thinks about doing it again. He will have the video evidence of who did it, what they look like, and such. But so he learned his lesson. He's taking steps and he used that money wisely. But do not stop being yourself because of people that want to take advantage and manipulate and not come out of low vibrations. They might never do it. But look what God gave you. He gave you the ability to see all of those things happening around you, and you didn't sync up with that. You continue to rise. You continue to use your gifts and your strengths and your talents to help others. Don't regress. Don't take a step back when people do that. It might hurt for a second, but you learn your lesson and you get up out of that. Don't try to wallow in it. Don't try to get revenge. Don't react in a way that takes you out of your beautiful, beautiful light, your gracious character that you have succeeded in shining for the world to see and hopefully inspiring others along the way. Don't let that change who you are. Just because you had some bad encounters and some disappointing times, don't let that change you and who you are, because there's so many people out there that need the inspiration. There's so many people out there that are still deserving of the kind-hearted person you are and all the things that you have to offer, because all they need is that help, that one little helping hand, that one little step up, that little push that they might need to help them to the next level. And then they will inspire someone like you, inspired or helped them. So please don't stop. Just use those as learning opportunities and learn it as quick as you can. You don't need no second time around the block to learn that. You cover yourself from that happening again and keep going, and there'll always be more lessons, but learn them the first time. And if somebody helps you out, always use that to help protect yourself from that happening again, and just keep going, keep shining even brighter, because just like the girl, the fashion designer in the first story, and just like him, when God puts you in those positions, it's for you to learn your lessons, but it's also about how you react to them, and how both of them reacted to their situations is going to push them up. It's going to level them up. One, people are going to help them out. Two, people are going to see your light and know that you're the genuine, authentic one. They're going to see the ones that are laughing or the ones that are stealing are the ones that do not have the juice. You have the juice. They are operating in low vibrations where they have learned to get what they need through deceitful actions. And they will see God has put you in those positions, and if you react the right way, others are going to see that, and it is going to elevate you. It is going to push you more and more to the top, to the people that were deceitful, didn't even know that all the things that they were doing to try to bring you down only elevated you more. It only put the spotlight on you so that you could rise, so that you could continue to be a brighter and brighter and brighter star because of how you made it through that. And it was so clear to see that you were the one. You were the one that God chose to put in that situation because He knew your strength. He knew your love. He knew your light and how you would react. And that's what He wanted everyone to see. And that will elevate you because you didn't react in a way to where you stooped to their level, and you kept going and you inspired others to do the same. You created an awesome example for them to follow. And that is so important. We all need that. So don't stop. Just protect how you react. Also, those are things that I saw on the internet. These are things that I have encountered. Thank you so much if you watched the museum video and the part about the Ed Johnson Memorial and the lynchings, because that is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and it was so close to the museum that I thought, let me just tie this in together. I did want to walk the bridge because after knowing that people have been lynched on that bridge, I can't walk that bridge, even if it's such a community gym to where people go and walk the bridge. It's a great photo spot. It's great for exercise. It's just a nice little spot to go on a date. I've walked there on dates before, but just knowing that people have been lynched on that bridge just takes away from it so much, and I can never be on there without thinking about the lynchings. I once went to a lynching exhibit at the King Center in Atlanta, where the Eternal Flame is, and we went to see Martin Luther King's church and went inside. But going through that exhibit and just looking at here, like it really chokes me up just thinking about it, because I was like, why? My first husband's dad, who was a preacher, he has now passed, he took us there. And I didn't really know what we were going to see until I got there. And I was like, it was just picture after picture after picture of lynchings, lynching. It was nothing but like hundreds of pictures of lynchings. And I felt so disgusted. But I know that it has put me in the place that I'm at now, where I'm just, my heart goes out to um, just victims, people, survivors of racism, and the things that their ancestors have had to go through, and how heartless that some people have been just because of the color of someone else's skin, and how they think they are superior. And even with me loving our city, I can't cross one of the most beautiful places in our city, in the very heart of it, without thinking about how this man was wronged, and he was innocent, and he was taken out of jail by a mob to be put there, even though he was proclaiming his innocence. Just the color of his skin, and that someone had wrongfully accused him, they didn't care. That's all they cared about, was that someone said it. Whether it was true or not, they didn't care. They just charged in there, um, and took him out and just hung him. And it's still just so sad. I had the book, Contempt of Court. I got it at McKay's a long time ago, and I believe it's a signed copy, actually. It's at my uncle's. I might still have it, I might not. But anyway, I used to own it. And there's pictures in there of it, and it's just disgusting that our city, I know that things like that, I'm not naive, I know that things like that take place and have taken place in the South, but it just so disappointed me in Chattanooga's, because that's where I'm from. That's where I'm from. And yeah, it was like going to visit what I imagined going to visit, like Auschwitz would be, but on a smaller scale. It was so depressing and so disgusting to see and hear about those kinds of things. And so it makes me really empowered to go out and fight for those, not only um, racism, but just people that are innocent, like the Innocence Project, and stand up for people that have been just steamrolled, railroaded by others that have an agenda, regardless of what facts they have to prove that those people are guilty of anything, and me included. I have not been accused of anything, like, to the level that they have. I have not been put in jail. I know that they've tried, but the things that I said that were true, people have said that I'm crazy because I said them, but they have never proved that they're not true. Not one person has ever proved that the things that I have said and that I have lived through were not true, but they used them as an instrument to call me crazy. But nobody's ever proved me wrong. Not one person has ever proved me wrong, but they all state that this is a fact, um, that makes me crazy, but they have never proved me wrong. They have never proved me wrong, not one of them. But they continue to state over and over, and I know how infuriating that can be. But in your walk with God, He put you in that position for a reason. And even though it was years and years and years later, and Johnson got his memorial, there's so many people that have learned from it. And just like the things that are on um, the pavement around the memorial, where it says, I was not there to care then, but I'm there to care now. And so many people do, that their suffering and their deaths, even sometimes, were not in vain, because even even as he was being hung, he was saying positive things. I don't want to misquote him, but he was saying positive things. He wasn't yelling and screaming hateful things at them as they hung him, and as they, broke him out of the jail to do those things to him when he knew he was innocent. He proclaimed his innocence, but he did not spew the hatred back on them that they did to him. He didn't reciprocate that at all. And that is a glorious example for every single one of us. It's a shame, but just like when I'm talking about the agnostics and the atheists using the, well, God wouldn't do this to children. Well, all kinds of things have happened to people, but they were examples for other people to learn from. Even a miscarriage, even an abortion, even those souls that have incarnated into those bodies that horrible things happened to were all for a reason, and they signed up to do that before they ever got into that body that those things happened to. It was all for us to learn from. The people that are in those situations, and even people generations from now, are learning from those people that those horrible things happened to. They didn't feel any of that pain. Their soul didn't feel any of that pain, but they stood for something so much bigger than what happened to them. And people are still learning from that and taking away valuable lessons from those things even today, years and years later. And I just think that is amazing. It's so moving. It's so powerful. And that's what I mean by us being powerful, infinite beings, because we can create so much for ourselves if we get out of our own way and get others out of our way, and we start realizing our potential and how much we have inside of us. Everything that we need is already inside of us. We just need to grab it, to hold on to it, to project ourselves into it, because the frequency is already there. We just have to tune into it. Don't let anybody tell you, like, well, that's not for me, that's just for them, I'm supposed to stay here in this really small role. No, it's not. Get away from those people. Break out of those limited belief systems that other people have imposed on you and brainwashed you with. How would you know if you were brainwashed if you don't get away from it? It's just what you think everybody thinks. It's what you think you should think if you don't get away from it. We've all been brainwashed by something, or so we've all been brainwashed on a national level by in the programming from society, by just the world and the news and schools and religion, and then on a personal level by your family, by your friends, by the people that you've grown up around. Gravitate towards the people that want the absolute best for you. Find yourself mentors, even if they're not family or friends. People at your school, people at your university, people at your job. There are people that believe in your potential, and they will show it to you before you even see it in yourself. That's what I love to do. I know I'm by far the only one out there that does it, that loves to see that light bulb moment that helps people to realize that there's more to life than what they're doing, and how smart they are, and how creative they are, and how much that they have ahead of them if they would just take the blinders off. It's amazing to see when that light bulb goes off. And even if you don't have people that are telling it to you yet, go seek people that will encourage you to see it in yourself or show it to you, because none of us are small. None of us should be kept in that box. All of us are powerful, just like God, because He is inside of all of us. He didn't create us to be small. He put us here with big purposes, just like Ed Johnson, just like Sean Stockman, just like TT, DDG's sister. I don't know her last name. He put all of us here with infinite divine potential. And there will be so many people trying to hate on you, trying to kill you, trying to drag you down, trying to talk about you behind your back, slander you, accuse you of things that you're not guilty of, to keep you small, because they see that potential. They see that light. They don't want to do the work, and they don't want you to outdo them. So guess what? The name of the game for people like that is smear campaign, defamation. It is constantly going to be drag you down because I don't want to do the work to bring myself up. So just know that, but don't let it stand in your way. yeah, the only other things I really wanted to talk about with me being grateful for experiences in my going to the museum yesterday, and I said this on my video, but I'm going to say it again for those that didn't watch that video, that I was videoing this screen that was showing these designs that were changing, and I could have stood there and watched it forever. And a lot of the museum employees, they were all in black and they were standing around like security. I mean, Lord knows what happens in there. People have probably tried to and have destroyed things that are many, many years old and very valuable. So I understand why they do that, but they're very like solemn. Only a couple of them said like hi or anything welcoming. They just stand there like Secret Service. But this one lady, she was sitting in the room next to what I was videoing, and she was sitting on a bench in the middle of the room, surrounded by all of this artwork, and she just looked just angelic to me, just very beautiful. And as to where I had only spoken to the ones that said hello, she didn't say anything to me, but I said, you look like you could be part of the exhibit sitting there. And something just told me to tell her. And the shy me from years past would never have said anything. I would have thought it and I would have kept going and never would have opened my mouth or been outgoing. But me now, especially after hearing about all of the near death experiences when they talk about the life review, because a bunch of people talk about the life review, but they all say the same things, and how there's like a highlight reel of all of the like big milestones and marriages, having kids, graduating college, becoming a cheerleader, like all these things that were high points in their life, but they also go through a reel where it shows what you've done to other people, and you will feel the things that you've done to other people, good or bad, just as those people that you did them to felt. You will experience that as if you were them in their shoes. And so I always think about that, especially like when I'm saying to you guys, you never know what someone else is going through, and that the interaction that you had with them, no matter how brief or small or seemingly insignificant, that it could mean the world to them, depending on what their situation is at the time, because you never know what lies beneath. And she said, well, I'm going to take that as a compliment. When I told her she looked like she could be part of the exhibit. And I said, well, you should, because you look beautiful sitting there. And as I walked off, I thought the first thing that popped into my head was she really needed to hear that. And like, I don't know anything about her, whether she did or not, but I was just glad that I had put myself out there and actually said what I was thinking to her. And then before I left, I had a few more things to see. And before I left, I went back through that spot in the museum because I knew that there was a restroom there, and I had wanted to walk around outside some more before my parking time was up. So I used the restroom, and as the door opened as I was in the stall, and I thought, that's that lady. Like, I didn't even see her, but I just felt the energy, and I was like, I bet that's that lady again. And I came out and I washed my hands, and then she came out, and sure enough, it was her. And she said, are you the one that gave me that compliment? And I was like, yeah. And she said, you must have known that I needed to hear that, because I just had surgery and I'm not feeling myself yet. And I just had to sit down and take a rest. And I was like, yeah, well, I said, sometimes I do feel things like that. And I do know when people need to hear things like that. And I said, and even though I was being really honest about how you look beautiful sitting there, I said, when I walked away, I felt like you probably needed to hear that. And she said, well, you're right. You must be very intuitive, because I did. And I was like, well, I'm going to take that as a compliment, because I am intuitive. And a lot of people like to laugh at it or make fun of it and say that it's not real, but it is a very real thing, because I feel those things deeply and all the time. And it only gets bigger and bigger every day that I live. And I didn't say all of that, but I said the first part for sure, because it was a beautiful moment, and I'm so glad that I said that, and I'm so glad that it helped her make her feel a little bit better in the moment, because she did need that. And I'm glad that she told me that she needed that, because I might have never known. If I hadn't decided to go back and find the bathroom, she would have never confirmed from me that she needed to hear that. But it was amazing, it was beautiful, and she was radiant. So I cherish that exchange. There was a man outside that was trying to take a picture of his bike. He was a for real like cyclist. I mean, he had on the cycling shoes, that clicked into the pedals and everything. And he was trying to take a picture of his bike with the sign. And I was passing by at just the right time. And he was like, "Do you mind taking a picture of me?" And I took a couple of pictures with him. And he was an older man. I don't know how old. I'm not saying he's an old man, but he was like my age or older, and he was throwing up the deuces in the sign, and I was like, yeah, like it just made me so happy that he asked me, and I was there at that time, and it was beautiful. Like those things bring tears to my eyes because I love people so much, and I'm not gonna let the things that happen to me make me stop putting myself out there for the people that deserve it, for the people that need it, for the people that need my light, because my light is so bright and I love them so much, even though I have no clue what either of their names were. Not at all. And probably will never see them again, but I love that we crossed each other's paths. We had those moments. One more significant than the other, but still both were equally as important to me. And I'm so glad that God put them there. God put me there because it helps shape who we are and what we do for others in the future. They are really, really important. And I wouldn't be surprised if those two things were part of my life review. Even the guy that didn't want to startle me and stepped behind me as I was taking pictures and video of the Walnut Street Bridge before I walked over to the memorial. He had this huge dog, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I don't want to startle you, but I'm reaching around you to throw my dog's poop in the trash." And it made me laugh so hard because he said all of that out loud. Where it might have been TMI, it really helped make my day because it made me laugh. Where I haven't laughed like in so long. I laugh about things that I see on the internet, but I don't want to cry because all of this is for a reason. None of it's been in vain. Always know that everything is being done for you and not to you. Don't ever see yourself as a victim. It is being done to shape you, to strengthen you, to elevate you. Watch how you react and respond because that is everything. But even the guy making me laugh about his dog's poop, like I needed that. I needed that genuine, like just full body laugh because it was said in just the right way and just the right time where I was like not expecting it and it caught me off guard and it was just so funny that he said all of that. But yeah, things like that, just all of that just makes my day, and I'm so happy that God has put me in the position to where I can go and enjoy life and be around these people, because if I was working right now, um, I wouldn't. I would be so worn down, so drained of my energy. I would not be able to experience these things, but He's letting me do that. I am taking full advantage of it while I can. And I'm so thankful that everything is being taken care of in the meantime, that I don't have to stress about anything. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I wouldn't call any of these things negative or positives. I'm just grateful for every single thing, every single person, every single adventure, every single moment, for every single thing that I have and who I am, and that He's waking me up every day. And I really want to encourage you guys to do that too. Hopefully, I can inspire you and you could be moved by some of these stories, because all of them have touched my heart and they keep me going. And I know that you guys have things like that you could share about yourself if you really take time to appreciate them for what they are, and examine them and not just be in such a rush or so worn down or stressed or worried. Take time to appreciate those things and look deeper at them, because they are meaningful. Every single thing has meaning, and if you take time to really look at it and take away something, whether you would normally say it's a good thing or bad thing, that everything happened for a reason, and the takeaway was for you. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you. And that's the whole that's the gift in itself. That's being in the now, being in the present is a gift for you. You just have to learn from it. And respond well, because God allowed it to happen for a reason. He loves you. I love you. And you're never alone. I'll see you guys later. Bye.